It's Monday, December 23rd, and I'm starting to log my weight and the projects today because it's going to be a good way to keep me disciplined throughout the holidays. And I feel like it's going to show how it impacts the way I perform throughout the week. If I'm able to keep my weight down, and how my family, like how I'm going to interact with my family and deal with everything throughout the process of me trying to lose like maybe 10 pounds until Friday. And yeah, so starting weight last time I checked was like 157. So I have a little bit of time, but I want to see. I'm trying to control right now my hydration, the sodium intake, the amount of carbs and fiber that I'm taking in. I usually like to lower the amount of sodium I'm consuming a couple of days before. I'm also practicing this called water loading, where you drink about 2 gallons of water 5 days before, and then you drink a gallon the day after, and then half a gallon, and then like half of that. You just keep halving it until the day before or the day of. You don't drink any water, but your body's still sweating because of the amount of water you put in before. It thinks you're overhydrated and makes it so that you have to keep sweating. But anyways, the main focus of this is how it impacts your body and how it's going to impact my performance, and if weight cutting at all is actually worth it. It is now Tuesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, and I just got finished with a practice. I woke up weighing like 153 pounds. I went to practice and I lost uh like 5 pounds, I think. I ended up weighing like around 148. I got home, I rehydrated. I was 149 and I just got out the shower. And I noticed that as I'm starting to lose weight, my cardio is getting a lot worse. I'm getting gassed out like a lot easier, and breathing's getting harder and stuff. And this is all leading up to a 2-day tournament, meaning I have to maintain the weight that I'm cutting to, which is 147 for 2 days before I'm able to fully eat and rehydrate again. And I don't think it's gonna be very difficult or challenging, but I don't know, because Christmas tomorrow, I'm not gonna be able to get a practice, and I'm definitely gonna lose less water weight. I'm drinking a gallon of water today, unlike the 2 I drank yesterday. But yeah, noticeable changes in my performance is just cardio. I do feel a lot hungrier though, and I'm getting a lot of cravings, which is bad. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow I weigh no more than 155 by the end of the day. And today, my family's celebrating, so I'm gonna try to keep myself under control and see if being this hungry doesn't put me in a bad mood around my family. It is December 25th, Christmas Day. I'm like 10 pounds over right now because my mom wouldn't let me go to sleep without eating last night. So I'm a little bit over, but that shouldn't be a problem. I'm a little sweaty. I just ran 10K, 6 miles, like 6.2 miles. It's my friend's birthday today, and he's no longer with us, but that's beyond the point. I felt pretty well energized today throughout my run, but obviously it's because I drank enough water too, and so hopefully after this run I'm about 154, 155 if I'm lucky. I'm wearing a lot of layers, so if I'm lucky I would have lost maybe 3 pounds, and that should be enough for me to be able to lose the rest during practice tomorrow, about 10, maybe 9, 7, like between 7 and 9 pounds. Honestly, my time with my family yesterday was pretty good, but obviously it's because I was eating, and I've been asking a lot of my friends as well, and they said that they have felt pretty drained throughout this whole vacation, and they haven't been eating, so I feel like that's definitely the factor that has been changing a lot of the way we've been interacting with our family. So well, tomorrow is gonna be a pretty rough day. Hopefully I'll be on weight, and I'll definitely update on how I'm feeling after practice tomorrow. It is Thursday, 26th, and I just got finished with the practice. I lost 5 pounds. I woke up in the morning at 140, no, I mean 155 pounds. I went to practice and I left at around 149, so 6 pounds. But today at practice, I actually felt kind of sluggish because I'm like cutting down my water right now, and it's making me feel like really dehydrated. I'm still not on weight. I'm probably I rehydrated after practice, so I'm probably like 3, maybe 2 pounds. No, yeah, I'm probably like 3-4 pounds over right now. I have another practice, and I think I'm gonna go on a run too, just to cut the weight. Everyone in the room is cutting weight as well, and I'm noticing that a lot of them are getting like sluggish and lazy. Like when we're running and stuff, I see it in them that their performance is getting worse, and when I'm wrestling with them, they don't feel as strong as they did. I see it in their faces too. Their faces get sunken in. Their eyes get sunken in. Their mouth is like completely white. It's crazy to see, really. But yeah, I wrestle tomorrow, and I hope this weight cut hasn't impacted my performance as much as I thought it would. So it is still Thursday. I just got done with my second practice of the day. I'm on weight, thank God, and I feel completely drained. I don't like my mouth is completely dry, my tongue is dry. I feel sluggish. I'm ready for bed. I really don't even want to shower, but I'm scared of the skin diseases. So, other than that, I don't know. Like I'm so dehydrated that I can't even think. This is how kind of weight impacts performance. It makes me like lowers my IQ by 10 points. It is Sunday, and I'm on my way to practice. And all I can say is that the weight cut impacted my performance a lot the first day. But the second day of wrestling, I felt a lot more energized because I was able to fully hydrate. I was able to eat. And I feel like there's nothing more important now to my performance. Like after doing this whole week of documenting everything, there is nothing more important than being well hydrated and keeping food in my stomach, because I have never felt as drained as I did this week. And yeah, now I'm gonna go ahead and start doing the interviews. All right, it's Wednesday, January 8th. We're preparing for the Huntington dual meet. Joe, how much weight did you have to cut for this duel?
I had to cut 8 pounds.
So what was your starting weight?
180, 79, 80.
Do you feel like cutting weight affects your performance at all?
Yeah, if I cut it unhealthily or like too fast.
What has been the worst weight cut you have done to yourself?
One time, I think in the off season. Yo, let's throw it.
Oh.
One time, my 8th grade year, I had to cut 12 pounds before like a stage.
Would you say has been your worst performance, or?
No.
No? How did you like recover from that weight cut?
Replenished like electrolytes and got fast like carbs in my body, like fruit.
Do you feel like cutting weight affects the way you are in the classroom?
Yeah.
How?
Sleep a lot and I can't concentrate.
Do you think, does it change depending on the way you cut weight?
Yeah, if I'm cutting like ahead of time, then I feel a lot better. But if I'm cutting like fast and I can't eat in the morning, or if I haven't eaten in like 24 hours, then yeah, I'm like drowsy. I sleep a lot.
Do your parents worry about the way you are eating or cutting weight?
Yeah, sometimes, but they understand.
Because they've been like around the sport long enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
7 years.
And how long have you been wrestling?
17 years.
So you would say you know a lot about cutting weight and you've seen a lot of horrible weight cuts?
Yes.
Okay. People often ask, is it better to cut weight through exercise or through diet?
Through diet. Diet's the best way, easiest way for the weight to come on.
To cut off weight?
And the energy to cut off weight, absolutely.
So would you say that people should cut out water or food first?
Food before water. You
Wow.
go 3 days without water, you go a week without, a month, week I think without food.
Okay. What foods should people avoid while cutting weight?
Fast food, salt, sugar, heavy sugar, big carbs, that kind of stuff.
How could I avoid losing muscle while cutting weight?
2 ways. One, it's about your carb intake and how big of a portion you're doing with that. And 2, it's about how you cut the weight off. You want to cut, usually if I have to cut 12 pounds and I know I have a month ahead of time, I'm going to cut about 3 pounds a week. I want to cut 5 to 6 pounds off right away.
What is the best way to rehydrate after a harsh weight cut?
Best way to rehydrate after a harsh weight cut. The secrets are the real way.
The secret.
So you want to get Pedialyte or some electrolytes in it, put it in water. That's the most natural way. Drink at least your body weight in ounces in water, and then after that, there's a couple of treats like pickle juice and a couple other things. Watermelon, any kind of fruit that has naturally hydrates you is very good. Melons, watermelons, things like that.
Have you noticed a lower performance when your athletes are cutting weight?
Yes, they get tired very quickly.
How do you avoid the yo-yo effect when cutting weight?
It's all about, so the yo-yo effect is you add on 10 pounds, you cut it off the wrong way, which is you're cutting off 5, you're not changing your diet, you're not getting the proper amount of sleep, and you're usually not fueling yourself when you're cutting weight, right? So I need to have energy to cut weight. So a lot of people think that not eating is the best way to cut weight. That's a wrong myth. You want to cut down your portion size, well, increase your portion intakes, but cut down the portion size. So if I'm eating, instead of eating 3 big meals, I might eat 5 small meals. So throughout the day, I'm constantly eating, I have more energy to cut weight. That's 1. 2, if I know I have a tournament or a competition 2 days, I'm not gonna put on 10 pounds. That means I gotta cut 10 pounds in 2 days. It's not wise. You wanna probably add no more than 5 to 6 pounds. So I cut 3 pounds in a day. 3 to 4 pounds a day, and I can add back on the weight. Other thing is, you wanna be very good with your diet regarding consistency. So I wanna eat fast food and then eat clean for 2 days and then go back to fast food. I would eat probably clean for 3 weeks a month. If I have maybe at most 1 to 2 cheat meals a month.
Would you encourage a new athlete to cut weight?
No, I wouldn't. It's not, the biggest thing for new athletes is about development on technique and understanding wrestling before you understand weight cutting. So you force a new athlete to cut weight before they understand wrestling, they're not gonna enjoy the sport as much.
So, would you encourage an experienced athlete? What would be your
Depends on
range?
the athlete. So, would I encourage an experienced athlete to cut weight more than a new athlete? Yes. But certain people are not good at weight cutting. Some people just are not good at it. Right?
Yeah.
So, if you're not good at weight cutting, it makes no sense for me to tell you something that you're not good at. It's better for you to let your body get bigger and get better at wrestling. The main important thing is always about getting better at the sport, and it's about focusing on weight cutting. Now, if I think you have a better chance at competing at a lower weight, I will encourage it, but you have to also be doing the right things. If I see that you're not doing the right things, you're dehydrated, you're malnourished, I'm not gonna tell you to cut weight from.
Okay. And lastly, what was the worst weight cut that you have seen?
The worst weight cut I've seen, or the worst weight cut I coach or I've seen?
Coach.
That's a tough one. Successful or unsuccessful?
Successful.
Probably Eric, what's his name? Probably Eric. Eric was very good at put on layers at the last minute and cutting weight and getting it off, but he constantly did it, and it probably wasn't the best thing for him.
Do you remember from what weight he started to what weight he cut?
He could cut like 7-8 pounds in a day.
7-8 pounds in a day.
Yeah.
And did you notice a big difference in the way he performed when he didn't
So
have to do that?
he would have a very rough start to a tournament, and then as soon as he rehydrated, like his body processed rehydrating, he did well. The issue is when you cut that much weight off, it takes your body longer to rehydrate and get back to normal stasis. You can't just put water in your body, being that dehydrated, and think you're gonna be good in like 30 minutes an hour. It doesn't happen. It's probably gonna take 3 hours for your body to get back to normal.
And Yogi, what's your question?
Just 9.
Do you think intermittent fasting could help? Or fasting in general? Do you
I think
it could
intermittent
be-
fasting actually is probably, if he was gonna wrestle, is probably the best way to go.
Really?
Yes, because the 12 hours of not eating, it does something to your, I don't know the exact science to it, but it does something to your digestive system or something to your metabolism. That then when you do eat and stuff, again, I don't know the exact science to it, but it does make weight cutting better for some reason. Because I've done it before and cut
Yeah.
weight off.
And would you, as an athlete, cut weight now? Like if you had to,
I wrestled right now?
Yeah, if you had to wrestle.
I
right
had
now-
to wrestle. No, I don't do it no more. I would not recommend it because, but it's also a stylistic thing. If I was wrestling probably a tougher competition, I probably would cut weight. But again, when you get better at wrestling, your ability can transition up weight classes. So, for example, someone who's more agile, having an athletic advantage, wrestling at heavy weight classes, people can't keep up with.
Yeah.
But if I'm wrestling, like, for example, like 170, I'm too undersized for it. I probably have to cut down lower. If I'm wrestling, like, good competition, I probably would cut down to 40, yeah.
And so being aware of like the way that your athletes cut weight, what would you say about it?
Again, it comes down to doing it the right way. Like, for example, you do it the right way, it works. You do it the right way in a monthly routine, you will notice that your weight easily comes off. When you're doing it inconsistently is when that yo-yo effect happens. Just like if you put on mass, like you gain muscle, if you notice you cut weight and you put something in your body, you boom right up back away because your body gets used to a certain metabolism, a certain way of how it was for a certain amount of period of time. That's why that yo-yo effect happens because you went from gaining muscle now to cutting weight. It's not a healthy thing that gets your body adjusted to.
Do you notice a lot of concern in parents that contact you?
Yes.
What are some of those like concerns?
One, do you think we're just killing the kid, which is not the case. It usually has to do that the kid is not doing the right way. So the parent then gets concerned that the kid goes from, again, eating a lot to not eating. Instead of being a friendly parent, hey, I can eat, but I need to eat real food. I can't eat fast food. I can't eat fried food. I can eat rice, but I might have to cut down the portion size because my body puts on a certain amount. That kind of stuff. It really comes down to communicating it. And once you usually get certain parents to understand that, you usually get on page with it.
So you think if done correctly, cutting weight can be like a great asset to a wrestler?
Yeah, it's not just a good asset to wrestler, it's a good asset for life. Like long-term life fitness and health. It's very good because you start understanding how to get help.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Vanya, how many years have you been wrestling for?
4 since my freshman year.
And throughout that time, have you seen bad weight cuts?
Yes, my friend Curtis had to cut weight a lot, and he used to just not eat for the period of time that he had to cut weight.
Do you think that was a bad choice? Did you notice it in him while he was wrestling that he looked like tired?
Yes, he looked very much tired when he was wrestling.
Did you notice any like differences in his energy, like on the mat, like just the way he would act in general? Was he like grumpy? You know what I mean?
Yes, when people don't eat while they're cutting weight, they genuinely don't act the way that they usually would.
As a girl wrestler, do you feel like it's harder for you to cut weight than it is for most of the guys?
Honestly, yes, because because of health reasons and because of like monthly like stuff with like your period and stuff. When you're on your period, it's harder to cut weight because you're supposed to eat and you're losing blood, so it is harder to cut weight. And I personally have had to cut weight while I'm on my period, which is like very difficult, but it is also more noticeable when you're off your period and you have just finished the weight cut. So you could go like from having to lose like 9 pounds and not being able to lose those last 4 pounds, and then you lose like an extra 3 pounds just because you got off your period.
Is this something that you've noticed with the rest of your teammates as well?
Yeah, they have had the same issue.
Okay.
And they have different eating habits too.
But it affects you guys like all the same?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Would you say that it is beneficial to yourself to cut weight?
Honestly, it does benefit you mostly because of the competitions.
How so?
Because depending on your weight class, it could be more difficult for you or easier.
But do you think that weight cutting is something necessary, or is it something that you can do?
It's optional because for me, I just wrestle at whatever I walk around at. Because I walk around at about like 111, 112, and sometimes I can go up to like 140 or like 106. So it depends on whatever weight class that I'm walking around at that moment. But I don't necessarily cut unless I want to go to a certain category.
Do you think it's possible to make up for not cutting weight with just experience and technical skill?
Yes, I think that if you train harder, you can make up for not cutting weight. But honestly, if you don't want to train as hard, you should just go to an easier weight class.
Okay. Would you recommend cutting weight to a new wrestler?
No, I would not, because it's gonna make you hate the sport, and the sport is just a lot of fun without having to cut weight.
Okay. And lastly, will you be cutting weight in the future?
I am currently cutting weight.
How many pounds?
Just like a few. Like I just need to finish cutting weight, like 3 pounds.
And even though you're aware of the dangers and aware that this could hurt your performance, you're still doing it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Love you. Weight cutting, despite being a big part of the sport, is still something very dangerous, and as seen in the testimonies that were given to me, something that many athletes feel is not even necessary to compete in the sport. And in my personal opinion, I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think it should be continued. And not only this, but there have been many studies performed by NIH, that the National Institute of Health, that show an incredibly decreased performance if athletes were to cut above like 2.5% of their body weight within a week. And it is insane that this is continued, and despite the health risk, and that this is expected of these young athletes that are still growing and are still developing. And this is definitely something that should be looked into deeper, and if anything, should be completely dismantled by the NYSPHAA. Those issues mentioned that can be dangerous later in life can be a slow metabolism, higher rate for heart attacks, higher rate for heart failure, higher rate for adult obesity. It is a lot of things that can endanger the life of an athlete, and weight cutting shouldn't be one of them. All of these issues are highlighted in The Current State of Weight Cutting, a paper written by Oliver R. Barley from the Center of Sports Science Research.